Hey, how are ya?
And having fun in the sun. Just playing in the park. The sun is just setting. I'm on the porch with my feet up, and I'm talking
Nice.
to you. So all the sunshine is out today.
And how many days ago were you locked in a cell?
The ninth. So today is what, the 21st. So 12 days ago.
Oh my God, you are just beaming.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
It's so
And
nice, free man. I can't wait to see you and give you a hug in person.
yeah, right. Because the prison environment, you got to do this. Like, I was giving
Rubberneck.
hugs like this. Like, I was giving hugs with the extension. Like, that's a beautiful thing. I'm soaking it all in and just taking the day by. Matter of fact, today, last night they sent me my debit card and I activated the pin today. To me, that's a big step.
Right? You're like a real person now. Bank account and everything.
Yeah, right.
Cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
first bank account ever, and I'm 56. It's sad, but it's happy at the same time. Yeah. So,
Let's start from how when you first found out you were going to be released. I'm assuming, did you go to the board?
went to a parole. I went to an early parole board because I qualified for a 6 month maritime.
Which for us people that don't understand that, what's that mean?
So there's certain qualifications to go to your board 6 months earlier than your initial parole board, and one of the qualifications happens to be obtaining a higher education degree. So I used my graduate level degree when I got my master's degree in professional studies.
Oh, perfect. Okay, so you're going, walk us in. You've prepared yourself for the parole board. Is it your first time ever going to a hearing?
First time ever, not first time having I had other prior bids too, but they were non-violent offenses. So my papers just went. I didn't have to go physically. This is the first time I actually went physically before a parole panel.
Okay, and do you guys know what it means when he says the word bid?
Bid is another way of saying doing time. So it goes both ways because the officers consider themselves doing a bid too, because some of them are there 8 hours, 16 hours, even 24 hours, depending on the situation. So we all doing a bid.
Gotcha. So how are you feeling that morning?
The morning I went into my parole board hearing, um, I prepared for it, but I didn't prepare for certain things because I didn't know they was gonna have uh my life history. I thought they would have my criminal history on file. And they shot a question at me that it stumped me for about 3 seconds, but it's my life story, so I didn't feel uncomfortable talking about it. And the question was, uh, they went back to when the Bureau of Child Welfare took me and my brothers from my single parent mother's home, and placed us in a foster shelter. Uh, and we went through that trauma with that. And she asked me, do you believe that going through that trauma was the reason why you turned out the way you turned out as an adult? And I said no, because even though that was traumatic, there was a silver lining there as to I got fostered and adopted by a very loving, caring Christian family that loved me, nurtured me, supported me, and did their damnedest to raise me, just like they raised their other children. And I was the one who made the bad decisions at the end, not them. I knew right from wrong. And just for some context here, there's three parole commissioners. Two of them didn't really talk towards the ending. There was this one doing the interview, and she was a assistant district attorney from Orange County of New York. So I was grilled like if I was on trial again.
Whoa.
Yeah. So my thing is though that so they asked the same question 8 different ways just to see if they could stump you and catch you in a lie. But when it's the truth, it's the truth. It's never going to change, no matter how many times you ask it or how many different ways you ask it. It's the truth, and that's what I stuck with.
So how long were you in there?
About 45 minutes.
And did your victims, were they there?
No, the victims of my case with there's one victim that's a deceased with that needlessly lost her life, and then the victim's family. And the victim's family wasn't there. There was no opposition. And but it doesn't mean that it wasn't on my conscience,
Mm-hmm.
right? They're always on my conscience because part of what I do today is, and for everybody else that I've harmed, is just to show them that the only way that I could actually add value to the words I'm sorry is by changing the way I change and doing what I'm doing now.
Living example. Love it.
Yep, it's the only way. It's the only way. I always give the example because people use the words "I'm sorry" in the in the wrong way sometimes. If I bump into you in the hallway and I turn around and say I'm sorry, that resolves that problem more often than not. But
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to a loved one having their life needlessly taken away from another, there's no way I could say sorry to that with words. No way at all. They would say things to me and probably do things to me that it would be it wouldn't be positive.
Yeah.
So showing and proving that what I'm doing today is to help these individuals with risk factors in their life not make the same bad decisions. And it starts with their thought process. Change the thought process, they change their decisions, they avoid the pitfalls that I did when I was making bad decisions.
Yeah. It's great advice.
Mm,
You're living a great life already, Sammy. You haven't even been
yeah,
out very long. So
yeah.
tell me how did they deliver you the news that you were found suitable?
So it comes, they put you in the bullpen. Yeah, first of all, I waited 9 days. That was the worst time throughout my whole 23 years plus incarceration, waiting those 9 days for a decision. It's who, what, when, where, why questions just killed me. And on the ninth day, they put me in the bullpen. I waited. The supervisor, counselor in charge, excuse me, she gives you envelope. She won't tell you the answer. Open it, and I have to go in front of her to answer it. There used to be that the sergeant used to come. You go that Tuesday, he'll come that Friday, give you the results. He'll walk away. But unfortunately, certain incarcerated individuals were harming themselves when they got negative results. So they changed it. Now you have to open it in front of a supervising counselor, just in case you get a adverse reaction to the decision. They're there to counsel you and help you through those stages. So when I open it, they say when the envelope's thick, that's bad news. When it's thin, it's good news. Mine was thick. I said, "Oh, here we go." So I opened it up and I look. I'm looking through 2 pages. I don't see the answer yet. I got to the last page and I see open date, and that was it. It was just like
Nice.
the pressure, the tension just shot out my body. And I had a cramp on my cheeks for the last 2 days afterwards from smiling so much. Yeah.
How awesome.
Mm.
So how long ago or how long between then and when you were released?
4 months. Why? I have no idea. And it doesn't make sense because if I would have got hit at the board, let's say with a year, right? The next time I go to that board in that year's time, if they decide to release me, they will release me and have me go home in 30 days. So what's the difference? So, but I'm over that. I'm done with that process there. Hopefully they change it because it is. I can understand if they needed paperwork if you're going to another country or if they don't have an address to go to. All the paperwork was done. Why you keep me there so long?
Yeah. So what were your first emotions when you read that line?
Uh, it was just a release of built up tension, right? Because worst case scenario, all they could have did was hit me with 6 months because I said they gave me a early parole board to go to. So they could have just pushed me to my initial, which was coming up in July. So from there, if they would have decided to hit me, they could have hit me, and I would have had to. They could have hit me with a year, 18 months, 2 years. But that's my initial parole date was in July. So I went in January, came out in May, and it just hit me like I'm actually going to get an opportunity to put my vision statement into effect as a mission statement.
That's a good way to sum it up.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's always been, you get to put it in practicality, right? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so take us back up a little bit to get us, right now you're telling us about the day that you were released. So tell us
Mm.
how you were feeling, say, the night before, the
The
morning.
night before, I didn't sleep till about 2 o'clock in the morning, just getting rid of stuff that I'm taking, stuff that I gave out already. I wanted to clean everything up. And it just, I had a plan. I was going to go downstairs, work out, take a shower, shave, and wait for the officer to pick me up.
And for those people that don't know what your cell looked like or who you were living with, or say things
Mm.
that are desirable that people want, tell us a little bit about that.
The cell it's a little larger than most cells. Most cells are 8 by 8. This one being that I was in earned eligibility housing, it was a little larger than that. I would say it was 9 by 10. It had a window. So, and it was still confinement. It was still the officer coming every night, locking the gate with one lock, and then locking the gate with another lock. Yeah.
I bet. And what kind of things did you give away?
Uh, Materialistic thing, TV, radio, some certain clothes I had, some certain footwear. Nobody wanted books. Ain't that a shame?
Yeah.
So yeah, I gave up most of that stuff there, emptied everything out, and waited for the officer to come. When he came, I said goodbye to everybody. Took one last look at a place that I'm never going back, and I walked out.
Nice. Okay, so take us, you follow the officer. He writes home
Hmm.
down on the chart. Walk us through the day.
Okay, so the same way one enters to come into the prison to get processed, to get coming, that's the same way we walk out. So they take you through this long corridor, you go up these stairs, and there's what they call a draft room where they process your property. But being that I'm being released, they're not processing my property. What they're doing is just the paperwork that I need to get released. Any train fare, the money that they give for the gate fee, and other things like birth certificates, social security that was in my record, my undergraduate and graduate level transcripts was in there. And then I had my clothes already, so I already had my clothes. I changed my clothes. And then he took us in a van. You ever seen in the prisons they have when the vans go in, or any vehicle that goes into the prison that's authorized to go into prison, they have to go through what they call a truck trap, where you go in one place, they close the door, and you're stuck in the middle there. So they
Mhm.
had us go through there, but we walked in. The van goes in, but they allowed us to walk through there. Never that happens. I've been to hospital trips countless times, and we stay in the van shackled. No way an
Yeah.
incarcerated individual is allowed to go in that high security area and just walk through there. And we walk through there, no shackles, civilian clothes. Guys in the chapel that have a window. There's a gate there that could see that area. They were screaming goodbye. They shouted my name. I shouted
Yeah.
them out, said goodbye, and that was it. I was gone.
Nice.
Hmm.
So you got in a car, and where did you go? Or who was there? Who put you in the car?
So we go in the state van and they drop us off in the train station where our loved ones pick us up at, and then he leaves from there. He went ahead. His wife let me use the phone to call my daughter, and I let her know that I'm here. She told me she's in traffic. I said no problem. So he went with his wife. I said I'm gonna stay here, wait for my daughter. And when he got to the office, the director was there, Sean Pika. And when Sean heard that I was in the train station, he jumped in his truck and he went and picked me up. Yeah. He called my daughter from the truck, said, "Meet us in the office."
Nice.
Yeah,
So what
yeah.
happened when you got out of the car? I know we can see this. We can
Right.
see it on the news, but walk us through it.
So I got out the truck, and instantly the kids from the youth assistance program there just were screaming. They shouted, "Welcome home!" And it just melted me, you know. And as soon as I went up the steps, I'm getting hugs from that moment on time, and then the tears coming down. Comrades that I had on the inside were there to support me. It was just it was just overwhelming. Even people that I didn't even know were there. Like, here, we're a part of this program. We know your struggle. Welcome home. And it just, my kids was there. They finally showed up. My daughter, my son and his girlfriend, and my other son from Connecticut. They was just all there. They didn't leave. They didn't leave my side from the moment they see me to the moment that they dropped me back off over here.
Yeah. How
Yeah.
great. So give us context about the kids. Why were there kids there? From the
So part of the youth assistant program is that they community members. That's this Austin High School. Let's be specific. The staff members at Austin High School bring kids into the prison system. Uh, there's three categories of kids. There's uh pre-juvenile delinquents, which means that they good kids. They're doing the right thing. They're getting good grades. They're excelling in life, but they live in an environment with risk factors in it. So they need to be educated on that. Then you have that's non-juvenile delinquents. Then you have pre-juvenile delinquents where they're cut in class. Maybe they smoke something, sometimes some marijuana or drank. They're getting in trouble. It hasn't gotten that serious yet. And then we have juvenile delinquents where some of them have court cases pending. Some of them are looking towards doing time in juvie prison jails. So the staff members from the high school bring them in so they can get an inside look and experience that rare opportunity to hear our stories. And I shared my story with that group that you seen that came in, and they related to different parts of it, especially the what I shared with you with the foster being adopted, putting care in the foster care system, and going through
Mhm.
that process of adoption, and dropping out of my second year high school because I asked them the question: do they believe that if marijuana is a gateway drug or not? And most of them said no. So when I explained my story, how I progressed from drugs, from smoking marijuana, dropping out of high school, and dedicating my life to the streets, all the way to experimenting with other dangerous drugs until that one drug that just kicked my rear end, which was heroin, and all the harm that it caused in between. So they related to that. I gave them the advice that if I was in their shoes right now, what I would do different, and it stuck with them. They actually applied that advice. So they came back a second time, and then the second time, News 12 was going to be there just to do a report on the program itself, what we do with the kids. And when the news reporter Emily Young from News 12 was talking with the kids, doing an interview with the kids, they mentioned this is our second time here within a month's period. So she was like, "Why?" And they related my story, how they took heed to it, and they came there that second time just to thank me. So
Oh,
that was overwhelming for her. So she asked permission to be there to film us, them
oh,
welcome me home, and it was just amazing.
yeah. Oh my God, that's so special. So
Yeah.
special. Tell me about the rest of the day.
So we did the side interviews. We shared story. I talked to them again, and I expressed my gratitude to them. I expressed my loyalty to them. I let them know that I'm here. Wherever they need me, I'm here. Come holler at me. And I let them know that I'm never gonna forget them. That I will go back to that high school and I will talk to them as a group or them individually.
Yeah.
And I made, I'm telling them that promises are cheap. Just watch what I do, and you'll see that everything you heard that me saying within those prison walls, I'm actually doing out here.
And
Mhm.
then did you hang out there for a while or did you leave with your kids? Do you have
Hung
lunch?
out there, and I got in the car with the kids. We went to go eat, and we just spent the day together, laughing and just. I looked like a tourist in New York City, just looking at everything around. So it was beautiful. I went to my first NA meeting with them. They supported me through that, so it was remarkable.
Nice. And what was your first meal?
I really wanted a spring roll, and I went to a place that around here, and I ordered it. I ate it, and it felt like they got it from the frozen food aisle in the supermarket. So I was really upset about that. I was more depressed because I was looking forward to a real one, and
Yeah.
that didn't happen. So um, that was it for the night. I said I'm not gonna eat nothing. I'm good. I was just drinking juices, and my favorite is ginger ale. And then
Yeah.
the next day, my sister actually made something that up to this day I'm still elated about it.
Oh, where did you spend your first night?
My first night I spent here. I just spent time with my family, you know, as they even come here, just come sit with me. My son stood in this chair right here the other night, 4 hours with me because
Oh,
of issues that he was going through, and we just talked. Right? You know, I was his listening board, and I just listened to him because I think that's where he really did. I think he just needed somebody to listen, that he could have to listen to, and he got it off his chest. We have some laughs after that because I cracked some jokes and I let him know it's gonna be all right. You know, you know the solution, and you're gonna get it. You know.
yeah.
So, and then if not, if you're having that much difficulty, then I'm always here. You know, to give you my advice to actually see what you could do about that situation. But I truly believe that you can handle it on your own because you're grown, and
Mhm.
I'm here in case you fall. I'm here to catch you in case you fall.
Oh, so great. That confidence you gave him and independent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no
Yeah,
lecture. How nice.
yeah.
Tell us about your living situation.
Living situation in this house here, there's five of us. There's two in one room, two in another, and then one in one room. It's just 3-story home, basement, first floor, second floor, backyard, front porch, across the street from a beautiful park in a beautiful neighborhood, and everything is just beautiful.
And you're in Ossining, right? New York?
Yes, I'm in Austin. Yeah, yeah.
And what's your next steps?
So I'm working here, just doing part of the moving company that they have here just for now. And tomorrow I have an interview with a job that I really want, working with these youths for a program called BOCES that is an alternative to high school program. So I'm really looking forward to working. They go inside the prison too. Some of them know me from in there. And I got one of the staff members there. He's retired now, but we talk about this inside, and he said if you do get an open date to come home, make sure you call me so I can help you with that process. So
Right.
that's what I'm doing tomorrow, and I'm going back to school. I'm gonna put. He's gonna help me so that I can obtain a PsyD, which is a doctorate in psychology.
What was like your big surprise from that day, or what felt great?
The mattress. Oh my god! I woke up with no back pains. Because we in the prison you have these flat mattresses, and even if you get a brand new one, it'll stay fluffy for maybe 2 weeks till it goes down.
Mm.
So even me putting two mattresses, when somebody went home, I took their mattress, and even with that, it was just terrible. So sleeping on a real bed and
Uh-huh.
just it felt great. It felt great, but I was still on prison time, meaning that I automatically woke up at the time when they usually do the go around and the count at
Yeah.
5:30 in the morning. Yeah.
And had you seen the stars? Had you been out at night?
Here you see it more because when it gets dark, I guess we're higher up, we're far away from the city, so we get a better view of the stars here. But I had that view here in Sing Sing. The only difference is that view there of the stars and of the Hudson River came with barbed wire fences and 50-foot walls and guard towers. Here is not like that.
What was the first thing that you did alone?
First thing I did alone was walk through this neighborhood because
Yeah.
I don't know my way. So I'm not gonna say alone because I use the Waze app. The ways that gives me directions of where in case I get lost. But I wanted to know exactly where I was at, how to get from the main office to here without relying on anybody. Uh, Part of the thing that my daughter did with me the day after, we went to this mall over here, and they had a gym. So I signed up for the gym. She paid a year's membership for a gym there for me so I could go work out. So she showed me the route that she drives, and I walked that route until I found a shorter cut way. So yeah, I walked there, walked back as part of the exercise, the pre-workout. So it's beautiful.
What else haven't I asked?
What else haven't you asked? Well, I'll give you some a little personal info. I got back, not back as to be together, but I went to see the mother of my kids,
Oh,
and we had that discussion there. We always gonna be best of friends, but we had that discussion, and I let her know where I'm at now. And I got to see my granddaughter, and it was just beautiful. And I haven't seen my nephew and my niece yet, but that'll come soon. And I'm waiting for see my sister from Atlanta.
oh, you
But
told me about her. Yeah.
yeah, but the most emotional part of it, really of all, was that during COVID, when my mom's passed away, I didn't get a chance to pay my last respects to her.
Mhm.
And God blessed me with the opportunity to be released before Mother's Day. And when I actually found where her tombstone was, and I was with my son and my daughter, and yeah, it's mostly draining. It really was. Her and my father are there in the same plot, and then you see in the tombstone there's a blank spot under their names, and that's for me because they prayed for a 3 plot there, so that I'm gonna be buried there with them.
Oh,
And the funny part of it is, being that I'm gonna be buried there with them, I might not wanna be buried where my head is buried where their head is. The view might look better with my head where their feet are.
that is so unique. Not many people have, a plot of land where they know they're going
Yeah.
to be and be able to have their parents there. That just
Hmm.
must feel great. So, what have you noticed has been the biggest change in society in the last 23 years?
When I got out the train station in the city, it's just like I got out and it was like I took a time warp and got out into a scene from The Walking Dead. Like the synthetic marijuana addiction is just, it's not even addiction, chemical dependency, because they took it to that level, just strewn bodies all over the streets, laying down anywhere, and just people. Just don't understand. Like I understand addiction, but to that level there, right, where you're seeking not just a heroin addiction, but a heroin, horse tranquilizer, and fentanyl addiction in one. Like, it's just sad to see, and it's like it really hurt me. And then when you go through other parts of the neighborhood, you see the same. The infrastructure's changed somewhat because there's different add-ons to it, and gentrification kicked in. But it's people just doing same thing. They trying to survive. They're trying to survive. There's good people still in East Harlem, and you could tell they're good people because you could see that they focus on just getting to where they need to go. You can hear it in their conversations, the laughter, the look in their face, and it's just that one part that taints that whole picture with the addiction.
Right.
And up here, I bumped into a officer, bumped into a couple of, but I bumped into one the first time, and we know each other from passing. And he see me say, "Oh, you finally released. That's good. God bless you." I said, "Thank you." And as he's walking away, I called him and I say, "Hey, look." And I showed him my shirt. I said, "Look, I could wear blue now." I had on baby blue, the same color as his shirt. He started laughing. But it's the truth. Like you can't wear blue inside any state correctional facility.
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah, yeah.
it's beautiful. So I'm focused on this journey, and I'll keep you abreast as to every little step of the way. I get a driver's license. Damn, look, I got my driver's license. I get a job. I got a job.
Yeah.
So I'll definitely keep you on time with it. And I appreciate everything you've done for me and everything that you continue to do for me, especially the love and support.
Oh, you're so sweet. Of course,
Mm,
100% here
mm.
for you. And you asked me to send a packet, which we actually sent out yesterday to one of your friends inside. I can't remember.
Samson?
Yep.
Okay, thank
So we
you.
got him a packet and told him that you recommended us. So
Mm,
yeah, I mean, without your trust and without you believing
mm,
with us and actually willing to
mm,
sit down and, sit with a camera with me inside, now we wouldn't
mm,
be here.
mm,
So thanks to
mm,
you, we're
mm,
successful.
mm. I wish you had a Humans of New York.
Well, I'm trying to get there. If we can get some
Mm,
funding, get some
right.
grants, yeah, I would love to have a satellite office and put you to
Right.
work.
I'll definitely work there because it goes hand in hand with everything that I'm doing, and then get these stories involved there's plenty of stories inside the penitentiary.
Yeah.
Good stories. Just some people just how should I word this correctly? In the penitentiary there's division amongst groups of people. Sometimes it's split by culture, sometimes it's split by gang affiliation, sometimes it's split by religion. And then sometimes you have that one group that's just not in the loop and they have great stories to tell. But being that they're not in the loop, they're not gonna get that information.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have a son of mine. I think I told you this before. He's incarcerated. He got 20 years. He's in Greenhaven, and he's doing great over there. He's enrolled in college. He's following my advice, and his story, because his story starts as a youngster, where his father was in prison, and as a young adult, even from teenage years, his story starts there, and you hear it, you'd be like, wow, this is the other side of the effects of an incarcerated parent's child.
Oh,
So yeah,
that's a book in itself right there.
yeah.
Yeah.
So what I'll do one day is matter of fact, when we get off, because I don't have his numbers there, I'm gonna forward you his name and numbers so you can send him a packet and let
Yeah.
him know that we had this discussion, and he'll tell
Mm.
you his story. He'll
Oh
tell you
yeah.
his story. You take it from there yourself.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know if Hector Roman ever wrote. Could you check Hector Roman? Whoever ever wrote
I'll
you the
pull him up right now. Hector.
yeah? Because I could send you his link to his stories. He did a TEDx,
Oh,
and that's to me we have more of a brother relationship than me and my biological brothers. That's how
that's
tight we are. And
nice.
he has told me that story, practiced it on me before the event. I've
Mhm.
heard it a dozen times, but when I actually seen it on the TEDx event,
Uh-huh.
I broke down in tears, especially the part with his mother. It just even now I get choked up because I'm gonna send you the link so you can see it for yourself.
Yeah.
And
You
maybe
felt tired?
no, he just got released yesterday. We welcomed him
Oh my God.
home. I'm gonna send you the videos and everything. His son, he got a 5-year-old son that was, he had trailer visits, conjugal visits, and his son was, a product of the system. As far as being born, conceived in the prison system, he's 6 years old, and he didn't know that his father was coming home from prison. He just thought he was going to see his father in prison.
Yeah.
When that boy saw him, oh my God, you got to see the smile, the elation. And they never cut his hair for 6 years. His hair, he looked like his hairstyle looked like you ever seen the Jungle Book, the cartoon Mowgli, the
Yeah.
Jungle Book boy?
Uh,
Hair long as hair, that's how the boy. And he got his first haircut yesterday with his father being there. So we
oh,
recorded that. They just we went out to eat. It was just the director from here. It was beautiful, beautiful. So
yeah.
I'll send you the videos and pictures so you can see what I'm talking about. And hopefully, if you want, I'll link you two up so you can hear his story for yourself.
Yeah. I love
Yeah,
that. Oh,
yeah,
great.
yeah. I think because he's been locked up since the age of 17 years old. They sentenced him to 33 and a half years in prison. So he
Wow.
thought he was dead. And then his story relates to gang membership and being raised in prison.
Yeah.
So he never thought he was going to see the light of day. And what the reasons for why he changed is going to blow your mind also.
Oh, I love that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I want to meet him.
Okay.
Do you guys have any questions for Sammy?
I do.
All right, Jody's coming. Come
Oh,
on. Come on over, Judy.
Hi, I'm Judy.
hi,
Actually,
Judy. A little lower because I can't see your face. There you go.
I'm doing a
Yeah.
project right now on reentry, which is super cool. That we're able to talk to you right now. But I
Mm.
was wondering, what has been the hardest part of reentry? Like anything that was like hard to adjust to, or anything that was like surprisingly easy to adjust to when you got out for after being.
Okay. The hardest thing was going into the city because I'm from the five boroughs of New York City. And when I went into my old neighborhood, as soon as I got into the city, just give you a little context. I exposed myself to chemical dependency with heroin. So I got clean from 2009 to now, but I wasn't ready for that moment because as soon as I went into the city, the nose started dripping, the stomach started grumbling, and I was going to my first Narcotics Anonymous meeting. So I was going to the right place with the right people, but physically, that's what happened to me. So I didn't test the waters with that there. And the easiest thing is just fitting in. Like I don't look out of place out here, right? Even though with this face here, with the tattoos on my face, I don't fit out of place in society. People say hi, people say good morning, they don't even know me. And I say good morning back. So that's the easiest part.
Yeah, that's great to hear. Thank you.
You're welcome. Take care.
You too.
Apparently we did a good job because I don't have any more for you. You
Okay.
can let me know who you want me to interview, and they don't have to be people that are really doing a lot of work either, because I want people to be able to relate to them. So
Right.
obviously, I mean, you and I are gravitate toward people that are in education and really
Mm.
moving to change their life, but it'd also be nice to have a mix, right, of people
Right.
that just people
Right.
that are in prison.
Right, right. I mean, struggle is struggle, right? There's different levels of struggle, right? Some people are not there yet, but they're striving to get there yet. And I think
Yeah.
that's an important aspect to look at also because we got to tell the truth. Prison isn't just about rehabilitation. Not everybody's about rehabilitation, right? And some people are struggling for that.
And
Yeah, I'll
people that
definitely.
have a voice, right? Like you've talked to
Right.
people who've been at TEDx and have been on, you know, different news things, which you guys are better at out there than we are out here, but they it'd be nice to have someone that doesn't have a voice to share other ways, right?
Right, exactly. And
Yeah.
this part of this, doing this here, especially in that environment, it allows us to hear ourselves.
Mhm.
Right? We don't really get that too much because you're not going to talk to yourself out in in your cell or in the yard or anything because you'll be labeled somebody with mental health issues. But when you're doing this interview with us and we're answering your questions, we actually get to hear what we say and we be like, wow. And then the questions come up like, why did I say that? And then the introspection comes in. So it's productive either way around the board.
I've never ever thought of it from that perspective before. How interesting.
Yeah, you provide a sounding board.
Yeah. Yeah, I never thought about you guys not being able to hear yourselves. How interesting. Huh,
Right.
that's cool.
There's stigmas behind it that we just cannot erase.
Yeah.
Like there's trust issues also. There's you feel that somebody that you're incarcerated with that you feel that you're getting close to, and then you break down that door to actually trust them with something personal that you're going to, and then they spread it around. It causes problems. So most people will not trust another, so they hold it in. And the more they hold it in, other stresses come into the mix of incarceration. And the next thing you know, somebody's going out in the hospital because they got injured, somebody got killed, somebody's going to solitary confinement. And at the end of the day, that voice is lost.
Yeah. That's
Mm.
so well, you articulated that so well. I've never been able to kind of close that loop for people. So it's so great to hear you say that.
I watched the show. I don't know what channel it was. I think it was NYU. And they showed California Corcoran prison.
Corcoran, yes.
Corcoran.
Corcoran. Yeah.
And wow, they got it rough over there compared to New York State prison. Like when they get classified as soon as they walk in, what gang affiliation you are in. No, you're not in the gang. What's your race? That's where you're going.
Yeah.
Because if you're white and you go with the blacks, that's automatic. No. If you're
Yeah. Put on
Hispanic and
the
you go with
yard.
a white, they keep you with your own kind, which kind of forces you to. If you're not in a gang, it forces you to get in the gang.
Yeah. And that
Right?
therefore you can't change your ways because you're stuck.
Right. And
Yeah.
once the top member of the gang tells you, listen, you got to go stab this dude up. If you don't stab that dude up, you can forget about it. You're going to get it. Right. So that is, and the double bunking there,
Oh, yeah.
you there with guys that I felt so bad, like from some of the guys there, like, but I understood it, because it's more gang activity out there than it is here. So they have to run their prison systems like that.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're, the Hispanic gangs, the Serenos and the norteños, you're right, they can't put them on the yard together, but
Right,
cells out here are 9 by 4 feet, and they put
right.
double most of the guys in there. But what's interesting, what's different from you, which I didn't realize, when the guys here go to the parole board, they tell them if they're found suitable right then and there.
Okay, and they're allowed to have the victim's family not be there actually, but the victim's family could be outside waiting for
So
that
they
decision.
sit right there in the room with you the whole time.
Right, so that you can't do. They don't do that in New York State.
Interesting.
In
Do
New
they?
York State, you're actually allowed to get a parole file review if you put in a motion and see if there's any opposition before you even go to the board.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
That's healthier.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, but pain and suffering is pain and suffering, whether you're here in New York, California, across the world, in China. Pain and suffering is pain and suffering.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you guys have victim offender dialogues in prison over there?
Victim offender dialogues? No. What they do is they have this thing called the apology bank, and we're allowed to write the victim or if the victim's not deceased, the victim's family,
Mhm.
and express remorse, tell our story of what we're doing in prison, and the part of reentry, rehabilitation, reentry. They send it off. It goes to Albany. It doesn't go straight to the victim. It goes to Albany. From Albany, they send it to the victim, they send it to the victim. If the victim's deceased, they send it to the victim's family, and you won't get no response back from that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's a bummer. So, did I tell you about the victim offender dialogue podcast that we're starting?
No.
So I'll let you go after this, and the interns are
Mhm.
probably wondering what they should be
Oh.
doing since I'm chit-chatting over here. But
Right.
what they do is it's the one group that I know of called the HIMSA Collective, and what they do is they work with the victims anywhere from 2 months to 2 years, and they do counseling with them. They help them write a letter to their perpetrator and back and forth. So they'll counsel both people, and then they're given 8 hours in prison one day to sit down together face to face.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
strong.
Isn't
strong.
it gives me chills to think about that. Yeah.
It's sort of like it's actually restorative justice, because
100%.
you're bringing the two that was you bringing the people that were harmed together, the one that harmed and the ones that received the harm together, and you're allowing them to work that out to the point to whereas before the harm was committed, so that they can have closure. That's
And
remarkable.
as humans, and they get to really see what their life was before and what led them to that moment. So I've interviewed 4 different, we call them couples, but pairs. And so what's been most startling for me about doing this podcast is here, I feel like I'm a big advocate for people incarcerated, right? They, the women that I have talked to whose perpetrator are in prison, I do not hold a candle to the advocacy of getting someone out of prison.
Right. Okay.
So for me, it's just been I'm revolutionary, right?
Right.
For example, Michelle was 18 years, hated that man, and now she's
Right.
trying to do everything she can to get him out of prison after she sat down and met him and heard his story and really looked at, in this case, he killed her husband, looked at her husband and his story and what happened and really sympathized with him. So yeah, it's been great.
I
Anyway,
blame the legal system for that, though. I blame the legal system for that because if we look at it, when is the perpetrator and the victim actually involved in the legal process when a crime is committed? In the beginning, when they get charged, right? The victim makes the statement of how they got offended. The perpetrator gets arrested, and then in between that is just lawyers, judges, ADAs, right? And
yeah.
then towards the end, if they go to trial, then the victim can have a victim impact statement, right? But
Yeah.
that's about it.
Uh-huh.
That's about it. And where is the closure there for either or?
Yeah. So messed up. I interviewed Alan, who actually was in San Quentin when I interviewed him. I think he's just recently been released, but I think it was Alan. Yeah, he said he's told his story twice in his life. And the first time he was actually able to share what happened that night was with the victim.
Right.
So
Right.
that was 20 years into prison. So his lawyers told him exactly like you said during that trial, you're not
Right.
talking, you're not talking. And they didn't care about his story. So he never
Right.
ever actually shared what happened. His first time was with the victim, and the second time was with me in his whole
Right.
life. I mean, wrong,
Right,
wrong.
it is.
Oh,
It is absolutely.
and it's so
And they
healing.
carry that harm through all that time to that point in time. You know how
Yeah.
much damage that causes mentally, physically,
Yeah.
emotionally?
Ugh,
Yeah.
that's-
Yeah.
all
But I
right.
thank you for this opportunity, and I'm gonna send you those pictures and bits.
Yeah, I can't wait. All right. Love you lots. Take
Love you
care.
too. Take
Take
care, all right?
care.
Tell everybody I said bye.
Everybody say bye to Sammy.
Bye.
See
Take
ya.
care. All right.
All right.
See ya.
Bye.